Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. This is actually our last week of this rotation. Um, I believe that our last day of class for this is May 1st, and then you'll be starting your final rotation on May 4th. So this is our last week together, and for this week we're going to be diving into a little bit more about media literacy, and specifically the news and consuming news online. And I think that right now, as we're going through the crisis that we're in right now, being able to responsibly consume media and understand all the information that is coming at us so quickly and all of the time is really, really important. So that's kind of the last thing we're going to dive into. I hope that it will help you with thinking about where you're getting the news, who's reporting it, why, all of those different questions that you can ask yourself, sort of like the newspaper assignment that we did last week, or that some of you might have done, where you're asking yourself the 5 W's. So where, what, when, who, and why. I don't think I said any of those twice. Anyways, so for this week, you'll see that the week, as always, I've moved it to the top of the page. So we're in the week of April 22nd to May 27th to May 1st. And the first thing you'll see here, now there's 3 parts to this week. There's part 1 that has an assignment attached to it. There's part 2 that has an assignment attached to it. And then there's a third part, which is an assignment, but it's optional. It's kind of just like a fun, silly, extra credit bonus assignment. So if you get all your work done and you want to work on something kind of creative for extra credit, you can work on part 3. If you want to add some extra points to your grade for the end of the rotation, that might be a good thing to do as well. So in part 1, you'll see that we'll be focusing on hoaxes and fakes, analyzing the information we consume in a rapidly changing media landscape. So we know not to believe everything that we hear, but what about everything that we see? And seeing also means not just videos that you're looking at online or pictures, but it's also the things that you're reading. So this kind of goes through some of those things and helps you to identify how to look at the sources and figure out what you're seeing is real or not, or truthful, and how you can find ways to explore that deeper as you're looking at something and you're maybe getting a feeling or questioning it or want to go deeper into that, which I encourage you all to do with anything that you read online. So, I want you to go through the part 1 slides, as we always do. The essential question here is, how can you avoid being fooled by fake videos and other information online? Go through the learning objectives here, and one of the things that you're going to focus on in this assignment is something called lateral reading. We'll get to that in a second. So I want you to view these videos that I posted on YouTube. It has some spoiler information, so I'm just going to click through there really quick. And you're going to have some key vocabulary here. So misinformation, lateral reading. So this is the thing that's going to be the focus of your assignment for part 1. So lateral reading is a method of determining credibility of online information in which you open multiple tabs to search for other information to validate the site's claims. So it's kind of like finding more references, resources, citations, basically corroboration. So that's our last key vocabulary here. Corroboration is finding additional sources that confirm or support the claims of a news story, article, or piece of information. So at the end of this, I want you to watch this brief video on lateral reading. And then you're going to go to part 1 of the assignment and answer the questions. So that's going to be, let's see. So it's going to be part 1 of the assignment. So I posted the video here again. Here's an article that I posted for an additional resource to help you understand how to be a better online sleuth. And here is the assignment here. So it basically just asks you a couple questions about the video that you just watched. So answer those completely here. And then I'm going to scroll down. So part 2 of the lesson is about decoding media bias. So I want you to think about what ways do you think that the media shows bias? And also think about where you're getting your news from. Where do you go? 60% of people get their news from social media. Are you one of those people? Do you get it all on Facebook? Do you get it all in Twitter? Are you just kind of clicking around and just doing Google searches? Do you look at the New York Times? Do you look at the Washington Post? Do you read the Daily News? Like, where do you get your news from? So this is going to ask, in what ways does the news media show bias? Go through your learning objectives again. And we talk about bias a little bit, which is defined as a particular tendency, trend, inclination, feeling, or opinion, especially the one that is preconceived or unreasoned. So it's kind of like a leaning feeling. It's a bias that you show towards things because you agree with it. So this is kind of like who's showing bias, where are they at the left? Are they in the center? Are they on the right? And why? So I want you to watch this video here. It's called Mediocrity. And after you do that, you're going to complete the part 2 assignment. So you'll click in here to part 2, click on the assignment, and you'll see again, this is like another thing that you just fill out. So this is a media website examination assignment. So what I want you to do is you're going to examine 3 different cable news websites, okay? So I want you to look at CNN, Fox News, and then the third one is MSNBC. And then what I want you to do here is to list 3 homepage news items. So you're gonna put their headline or title, and then put the hyperlink there. And then I want you to look at the politics section on that page, which is usually listed right at the top in the bar, the horizontal bar that goes at the top of the page. Click on the politics section and do the same thing. List 3 news items, the headline or title of the article, and put the hyperlink. You can either link it right in the title or you can paste it below, whichever is easier for you. So once you list those 3 things for each news site, and give each one a brief read, like go beyond the headline. And then you're going to answer these 2 questions at the bottom. So what do you notice? What stands out to you about the differences on each page? And why do the different news organizations have different stories? So think a little bit about why they're reporting the way they are, who their audience is, what their motives are. Is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it truthful? Is it reliable? Is everything a little bit kind of in the middle? That's what we're trying to look at and determine. No news source is infallible. Everybody is going to have some sort of a slant where journalism and everything tries to be as unbiased as possible, but we're going to, these are the things that we as consumers of media want to look deeper into, because we have that power. We have that control as people who are navigating the web. We have input. We can put things back out there. We have the ability to, share this information or not share it. We can correct it. We can, we have a lot of power in this online world, even though that there's a lot of information that is coming at us at all times. It's a good and a bad thing. So we need to learn how to be responsible consumers of media and have a little bit more control over that and the information that's coming in. And then for the third bonus assignment, this is, like I said, it's optional. It's for extra credit. And this is to make a meme. So this is another thing about confronting misinformation and social commentary. So you're going to find a meme about the coronavirus, something school appropriate, and you're going to fact check that meme. So it gives you some steps here to fact check. Where did it come from? What are the sources? Why are they saying this information? Like, really dig deep into it and figure out if it's truthful, if it's misleading, if it's, all of those things. So then you're going to find information about the coronavirus from a credible source that you think is important to share. So here I linked some reliable sources for information below, like the World Health Organization, the CDC, Johns Hopkins University. So all of these are really good places to click around and get visuals, get information, all of that. So once you get your credible information and something that is interesting to you, you're going to create your own meme sharing the information. And I want you to cite somewhere in the meme, probably like you did with your image, in the bottom corner, cite the source where you got it from. So if you got it from the CDC, cite that in the bottom corner so that we know where it came from. Some of the content ideas that you could use is like how to avoid touching your face, explaining symptoms, explain social distancing. You can go through the list here. So that's the third bonus assignment. And I also listed an additional resource down here that's called allsides.com. It's a website that shows you news topics written in 3 distinct viewpoints. So it shows you left, center, and right. So if you click on this and open the website, you'll see kind of how it's set up. And it'll show you different articles or different topics, and it'll show you different news sources and where their bias is falling. So if you want to read something about it that falls a little bit to the left, you would, click on this one. If you want to read something from the right, you would look at this from the New York Post. Here's something from CNN. So you can take a particular topic and read a couple different articles about the same thing and sort of understand what the differences are, which is sort of what you're doing with the second part of the assignment, to look at these web pages and really dive into what the differences are. So if you came to this page, you could take a particular topic and you can see what each of these sites is reporting about that thing and what kind of things they report on, what do they leave out, what are the facts that they're including, all of these things. So that's for this week. As usual, I'm doing my optional Zoom office hours. This week it's going to be on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Here's the information if you'd like to pop in. If you have questions about this week's assignment, if you have past assignments that you haven't done and you want to make up, we can talk about that, but I need you to email me first, and I need to know the situation and what's going on. And a reminder on that, this is the last week of this rotation. So any work that you don't get in this week will be counted as a 0. So if you have some sort of extenuating circumstance or something else personal that you need to talk to me about, you need to contact me. Email me as soon as possible so we can work something out. Okay? Have a great week. I'll talk to you all soon. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. Okay.